Well, it's been a while since I responded to any mgtows, and the reason being is because for this individual, I've tried to record the audio at least 8 times, and because basically the audio recordings, it simply put fails. So if this video or audio file works, you'll probably all know if you're watching this. So please stay tuned for the video. Alright, so let's see here. We have this individual known as, let's see here. His name is 45 Kaliber 357, which to me, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be a very good name, because anything with numbers like that, it starts with 45 and 357, tells me it's not exactly a original name, or I wouldn't say original, but just not a very good name, but might digress. But basically, we're responding to this doomsday prepper guy who thinks the world is ending because of feminism. Let's watch.
Civilization is pretty much fallen. When women become the ruling class and emotion becomes the deciding factor in life and what's right and what's wrong.
Okay, my major critique of this video is that you take way too damn long on going with your points. Like, I can understand if it's difficult to make a video on the spot. I sometimes do that, but you do it a lot worse, I can guarantee you that.
You're at your end. In ancient Rome, before its fall, the women rose to their false sense of prominence, and homosexuality rose as you see it rising. Same in Sodom and Gomorrah. For a place to become as powerful as America, it has to be done under a strong patriarchy, and the country for the most part has to be righteous. I don't mean necessarily following the laws of God. I'm saying righteous. It has to be fair, because only in a fair nation does individuality is celebrated, and innovation pushes that society.
Okay, I can agree with most of your points, except for two in particular. Now, you touched on as a strong society has to be led by a strong patriarchy. Well, that's not entirely true around the world. Like, there are some countries that are led by strong matriarchies, and there's certainly strong dictatorships, and certainly strong secularized countries as well. None of those actually have to be patriarchies. I'm just saying that multiple countries around the world have different ways of governing themselves. Second of all, you kind of touched on the religious topic about following the laws of God or something. And that's telling me that, like, this is the third or second time I saw mgtow refer to some sort of godliness. And I'm starting to think that some of the mgtows I'm going to respond to are probably more godly, and that's probably leads towards some of them in particular to be anti-gay, like this fellow, like Red Pill Ghost.
As a man going their own way community member, I gotta put my opinions out there regarding this group, and I gotta be fully honest. I do not agree with men becoming gay, and I do not agree with women becoming lesbians, but for the most part, I don't agree with both sexes to even become bisexual. To see such behaviors in men and women in general is not normal. When you see other men having sexual contact with other men, but at the same time you see women having sexual contact with other women, even if it's a case where both sexes have sexual contact with both genders. But what disturbs me even more is when the societal norm encourages this, for men to become gay and for women to become lesbians. It is not normal.
But, my digress, let's continue on.
You look at America, America doesn't innovate anymore. Because all the people that...
Seriously, stop that. Seriously, it just drives me crazy. Like, This is what you need to do. What you need to do is do a script instead of making that sort of thing, because anybody that says you get what I mean? Just don't do that. It drives me absolutely crazy. Sorry if I'm getting a little upset here, but just please don't do that. It bugs the living shit out of me.
The very top are either women or effeminated men. In fact, it's become a prerequisite. If you look at the videos I talked about the industry, to go through these effeminizing rituals.
Citation needed. Seriously, citation needed, because here's the thing. Just because there are people on top, that are women doesn't mean there's no innovation. Plus, you need to back up your sources here. You really do. In fact, here's the problem with your video. When I look at the description, the only thing I see is the link to the music. I don't see anything here at all that prominates some sort of proof that there is no more innovation coming from the country, so really, citation needed. Okay, another citation needed. In fact, businesses or factories or any place that makes those sort of innovations, the clear guidelines is usually you make the product and that's the end of the deal. There isn't any sort of ritualistic aspect that has to do with feminism, I'm pretty sure. But once again, I'm going to have to say that citation needed. You need to cite your sources.
An effeminated male is a spiritually castrated male. A lot of you brothers can probably attest to maybe at times dialing back your own masculinity just to pass through this wild jungle safely.
Okay. Dialing back your masculinity. As far as I know, there's no part in society that demands or requires that you do that. But what is it with your focus of masculinity? Like, if you focus too much on that specific hormone, I mean, that doesn't exactly spill well with your own mental psyche. Just saying. And plus, I heard you open a bottle. Don't say I didn't hear that. I heard you open a bottle, which that sign's kind of starting to get me to believe that you really do believe that the world is ending because feminism is taking over, which I don't think it is.
Try to appear smaller. Because the truth is, in a world where masculinity is vilified, you know that there are no masculine soldiers that will stand by your side. This is why mgtow has become what it is today. Men are tired of tucking their balls. They ain't comfortable tucking them anyway. Yeah. Look at where we've come to today. You know, another thing that a civilization needs to thrive is a replacement rate. You need some kind of... You need marriages. You need strong marriages. You need some fucking. You need some nut busting going on. Your numbers start to dwindle. So not only has allowing women to come into these prominent places in colleges, in the world of academia
Please stop doing that. It's driving me absolutely crazy. Seriously, making that you get what I mean? That sort of noise. It's telling me that you did not write this video with a script. I prefer when I'm responding to videos with a script. It makes it a lot more pleasant for me to respond to you. Basically, I'm going to tolerate up to 8 minutes worth of content if this line of if this sort of line just continues for 8 minutes, I'm just going to end it there because I can't tolerate people that are like, because it tells me that you don't have a complete thought. When I'm responding to people, I prefer to respond to people that have a complete thought. Not to mention, you really give off the vibe that you are a doomsday prepper preparing for the end of civilization because of feminism and all that sort of business while hiding in a corner in that bomb shelter with 2,000 pounds of Twinkies. Sorry if I had to make that sort of rant, but it's the only way to keep me motivated for 8 minutes of this.
CEOs and things like this. The overall culture has to dumb itself down so these women could look like they are a part of it. And what happening is that the men who are far beyond it are pushed to the side, because in any society you can only hold so many people. There's only so many artists that can be played on the radio.
Again, citation needed. What part of our civilization just dumbs down the whole female thing and sets my men to apart? Now, I can agree with you with the court system being very biased, but what you claimed is very suspicious. Not to mention what part of society just sets men aside like that, especially when it comes to innovation. Just saying.
There's only so many people who can be professional athletes, which is the only place masculinity is somewhat cherished. But let these two guys jaw at each other and they'll get a fine. God forbid these two men talk to each other like men in battle. Women never being innovators.
Your importance on masculinity is really starting to get me to believe that's all you really care. And by the way, there are plenty of female people on the radio as well, so you're not safe in that department because there are plenty of female radio hosts on the radio. They're not as prominent, but still.
Dominating the music industry. People love Beyonce, but there's nothing innovative about Beyonce. She's stolen from Michael Jackson so many times. Janet Jackson has borrowed things from her brother, and he said it in interviews about he jokingly wanted to strangle her for using the whole military angle.
This guy is so incredibly boring, so I'm going to skip to 5 minutes and 3 seconds, because the problem with him is that he's so damn slow. And this background that you can probably see, it pretty much explains it all of my frustrations with this individual.
See, the difference between a man and woman is these women will come and say this toxic masculinity, and they'll call us all dogs, when the very ground you're walking on was paved by men. And the creator himself, being a man, put the materials here for man to do what he did.
Once again, I'm getting that religious vibe, which I'm guessing I'm going to experience this more often. No, I'm an atheist, and here's the reason why. Just because your fairy tale god is a male doesn't mean that the whole world is built exactly 100% by men. Now, granted, I will agree that most of it has, but no, women are a part of this world, and they're just as a part of our society as well, and they've worked as well as on this society, especially with the city and innovation. Now, whether or not how much they contributed or innovated is debatable. However, what you just said there of God really pissed me off.
The innovation that came through playing instruments. Jimi Hendrix revolutionized the way guitar is. Name me a bitch. Name me one bitch who can play guitar.
That's easy. Here you go.
Anything like that. Thank you very much. You can't nearly name one. You know some female guitar players, but you don't know anybody. You don't know no female guitar slangers, do you?
Again, here you go.
And don't tell me the Iron Maidens, because with the Iron Maidens, do they literally just play Iron Maiden songs? Their own style, they revolutionize an industry. It doesn't happen. Tina Turner became a big artist, but Ike was doing all the music and all the stuff behind the scenes, writing all the music. She was the face. Great entertainer, and I love Tina Turner, man. But what's happening right now is killing society, and of course, women being who they are, women are the first one to say, oh, well, don't criticize the artists of today who's on the radio. You know, they're making their money, they're living, and all this stupid shit. But see, it is for a woman being mediocre.
I'd have to criticize you right then and there, because here's the thing. Anytime when people say that they're immune from criticism, especially in the music industry, I mean, that is just a load of horse shit. Because, seriously, where are you getting your facts on that? A lot of music industries rely on criticism in order to produce better quality music. So what you're saying is either you got from some crazy person or it's literally coming off your ass. Just saying.
At best, to say not to criticize mediocrity. We grew up in a world with James Brown and Michael Jackson were on stage together. Prince and Michael were killing it.
And how are those two male actors or musicians and proof of how just the whole innovation thing where it's all run 100% by men? Just asking.
The same era. In the hip-hop arena, we had Biggie, Pac, Nas, and all these guys all at one time. Now, Kendrick Lamar, I got to give him the crown. He's the king of hip-hop. But the truth is, while I know he'd have held his own and probably would have hurt a lot of guys in the 90s.
Okay, I think I've had enough of this guy. I'm going to probably make a part 2 into this video because the problem with him is that he's going on this irrelevant rant about the music industry now. And not to mention he keeps making that and arms in that video. And those are, here's my advice if you're watching this, by the way. Here's my advice. Write a script and actually try and practice actually making an audio recording and practice making it, because this video response is actually incredibly irritating, and that might explain why the audio device wouldn't let me make this video, because it probably was saving me from listening to that video that was ear cancer to me. But anyways, see y'all later for part 2 some other time. But anyways, take care, and let's see if this works.